Imagine your brain as a bustling city full of tiny workers called neurons, all working together to keep your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors running smoothly. But what if a hidden layer of control-like secret switches that can turn genes on or off, shaping how your brain develops and responds? Welcome to the fascinating world of epigenetics. Epigenetics is like the city's traffic signals modifying gene activity without changing the underlying DNA sequence. One way this happens is through DNA methylation, where methyl groups attach to specific spots called CPG sites, acting like dimmer switches that can quiet down gene activity. Methylation is like turning down the volume on certain genes. For example, increased methylation of the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, can influence neuronal growth and plasticity. BDNF is like fertilizer for your brain, helping neurons grow, survive, and form new connections. Epigenetics isn't just about genes, it also involves histone modifications like histone acetylation, which loosens the DNA-histone interaction, making genes more accessible. Think of it as opening the curtains to let the sunlight in. These modifications can be influenced by lifestyle choice, environment, or even psychotherapy. Speaking of psychotherapy, it's more than just talking, it's like a reset button for dysfunctional emotions and maladaptive coping strategies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, helps rewire negative thought patterns, while dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, teaches emotional regulation and distress tolerance, giving your emotional toolkit a much-needed upgrade. These approaches can be especially helpful for conditions like borderline personality disorder, PTSD, OCD, and even autism spectrum disorder. What happens in the brain during these mental health struggles? Neuroendocrine systems and the immune system are deeply involved. For instance, stress activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, releasing cortisol, which can affect DNA methylation patterns like a storm that leaves a lasting mark on the genes. For example, methylation of the NR3C1 gene, which encodes the glucocorticoid receptor, can also stress reactivity, making some folks more sensitive to stressors. Interestingly, epigenetic changes are not set in stone. They can be influenced by our environment, behaviors, and even our gut microbiota, trillions of tiny organisms living in our digestive system. In terms of treatment, pharmacological interventions like histone deacetylase inhibitors are used to modify epigenetic marks, potentially reversing abnormal gene silencing associated with mental illness. Genetics and epigenetics also intertwine with other molecular pathways. Signature induction pathways involving proteins like MCF2 or CFP57 regulate cellular responses. Epigenetic markers such as methylation changes in genes can influence neurodevelopmental processes like neurodifferentiation, migration, apoptosis, shaping brain architecture from embryogenesis onward. So, the take-home message: our genes are our destiny. Epigenetics shows us that experience, environment, and choices create molecular fingerprints that shape our mental health.